This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 341.
I program my own computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger,
Faster. We have the technology.
Why, hello everybody. This is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, I'm excited. A lot to talk about today. Upcoming events. First and foremost, WordCamp Columbia is September 10th through 12th. WordCamp Asheville is September 11th and 12th. And WordCamp Sao-Paulo is September 12th. These are all online events. Sadly, obviously nothing the rest of the year will be in person unless somehow we have some miracle cure. So Asheville is the closest to me physically. I went a few years ago. It's a great location. My daughter goes to college up there. I really wish it would have been in person because that would have been great to do, to have it be both there at the same time. Anyway, so there you go. If you're going to go to an online event, check those out this upcoming week. If you have an event you want me to share, by all means, let me know. Shoot me a message, etc. You know how to find me online. All right, moving on to segment 1 in the news. Things here to talk about. WordPress 5.5.1 maintenance release came out. This featured 34 bug fixes, 5 enhancements, 5 bug fixes for the block editor specifically. And those affect WordPress 5.5, so you're going to want to upgrade there. Also in the news, Restrict Content Pro was sold to iThemes. It was owned by Sandhills Development, Pippin's Plugins, Pippin Williamson, and team. They also own Affiliate WP, EDD, which I use. They have a bunch of tools, Sugar Calendar, etc. They were acquired and sold over to iThemes. There's an article over at sandhillsdev.com. I put a link in the show notes, as well as a video that was an interview that PostStatus did regarding the acquisition as well. Check that out. And lastly in the news, hackers exploited a plugin, the WP File Manager, about 350,000 to 700,000 and growing. Sites have been attacked. So if you're running WP File Manager, you're going to want to turn that off and upgrade it and take precautions there. Which leads me to segment 2, the meat and potatoes of this week's episode, steps to take after a malware infection. So last week, my week was completely derailed, to say the least. I had plans to work on a variety of things, client check-ins, some prospecting, backupspeaker.com, etc. What derailed me? Well, my server getting hacked. It looks like I may have fell victim to the file manager attack, though only slightly in a tangential way. I'm not quite sure how. None of the sites that we build, and then I looked everywhere we don't have the file manager plugin, but I found some proof of a file manager script. So it could have been coincidental. I don't know exactly, but let me tell you, it was not fun. It still isn't fun. So, and I found a file called .bt that has like 6 megabytes, has 250,000 IP addresses. Found another folder that was obfuscated a little bit by opening it up, and it's a CHS login folder, but the key there was the application that was put in was called Scam Page by Mr. Professor. It also lets people just have access to all your sites in your server. So I've been doing some research and learning a lot. And that's what derailed me. So for the record, I was alerted Monday morning via the service I use called BlogVault. An email came in saying that one of my sites was offline. It turned out 4 of my sites were offline. It led me down that rabbit hole of whack-a-mole, looking at stuff. AdamSilver.com was actually red screened over at Google. I got this is a unsafe site, whatever. So, and then I dove into that site to try to get Google to release it, and it said that I had a different owner. So somehow they got access to that. They put in the HTML file to show ownership. I removed that. It was a stressful week, to say the least. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why I was so stressed. I mean, I just celebrated 4 years. Maybe that's what it was. I was thinking, here things are going smooth, and here all of a sudden is a big problem. But you know what? Like the book I read last month, Everything is Figure-Outable by Marie Forleo. This is figure-outable as well. Taking a breath, figuring it out, slowing down. Life goes on. It's a website. Luckily, knock on wood, nothing was mission critical here. So what's my plan? How did I combat it? Well, again, full disclosure, I'm still combating it. It's still, in the progress because it just takes time to go through all this. I restored a few backups on a few sites that worked, and I changed 80 or so passwords, and then the malware came back. Cleaned it more with Blog Vault's tools and malware. The malware came back. Opened a ticket with a hosting company. They started a scrub. Malware came back. So I then spoke to my buddy Jim Walker, who I know from SoCal. And he's the WordPress hack repair guy. He's been doing this for like 10, 15 years. He knows his stuff. He's honest. He offered a bunch of valuable information. No charge, no hard sell. Just made some suggestions of how I can go about moving forward with this. He does this for a living. This is his specific focus, which is great. And I actually have intention of maybe getting him on the show here in the very near future to talk about this kind of stuff. I think it'd be very valuable. So one of the things he indicated was that shared hosting, it's really easy for infections to go across multiple sites. It's the directory aspect. Also the fact that he agreed with one of the reports that the hosting came back with that I use the same username across all the sites, not admin, but just like I use the same username. So that was easy too. Once you have the same username, even though I use different passwords, that's not ideal when this kind of thing happens. And then he also mentioned about the ethics in shared hosting for clients, whereas if it's different companies and this happens, it may be a business ethical relationship situation, legal speaking, that could also be a secondary vulnerability here, or a business vulnerability, if you will. So something for me to consider. So all that. So besides the standard advice, if you go out and Google stuff, people say, what do you do after you get hacked? Instead of like, here's the 5 things people usually say: stay calm, locate the hack, contact your hosting company, hire a professional, restore a backup. Those are the standard things. What I'm doing, this is what I want to share what I'm doing. And it's under progress. It's day to day right now. And I'm trying to just breathe through it, get outside, get some vitamin D. But here's what I'm doing. I'm going to start upgrading and updating my hosting in the sense of I'm going to go to a reseller account. I'm going to have every domain in its own bubble, less issue affecting other sites. So if one site gets hacked, I could then restore from a backup from pre-hack date, because I get my backup every day, and that way it's not going to keep spreading, because the problem is the insertion is hard to know where it's coming from right now. That's the hard part. We clean this area, but then it gets attacked again, because it's one big server. So I'm going to upgrade my hosting into a reseller account. That's in the process right now. That's pretty much that simple there. I'm using unique passwords, of course, because I've already updated about 80 of them across the board. And I'm also going to start using unique usernames. I'll be consistent in my syntax for myself, so I know, but I'm not going to use the same username across the board anymore. And I'm also going to be I'm going to be much more stringent with my clients on their choices of themes, period. Some themes just have more vulnerabilities. One of the thoughts that the hosting company in question here has is it a common theme? Well, yeah, we build a lot of stuff with Beaver Builder, but being in this community at WordPress, I think we would have heard something if it was a Beaver Builder issue. I don't believe it's that. I think it's this other thing where it happens to be, this file manager plugin. I really do think it's that relationship right there. And somehow, I think maybe just one of the sites I didn't build that is on that server, I didn't see it, or maybe it was a remnant there. Somebody got in somehow, and there you have it. And of course, what's the purpose of all this malware? They're just like, they're supporting ads. I think they're spamming people, sending user email and doing some ads and stuff through PHP. It's just a waste of energy and time. It's just really frustrating on obviously on every level. It's just a waste of energy and time. I'm also going to be adding WordFence as well, as I think is another step there. And depending on what your mileage may vary on what services and tools you use, but WordFence has the article, the link up in the notes area. They have an article there as well, what's going on there. So, it's all over. Ars Technica had it. WordFence has the article. I like WordFence. I know Kathy Zant. I know, I can't think of his name all of a sudden. Their CEO, his name escapes me, but great company. So I think, you need to take precautions. And my first thing is if you're doing client work and you're as an agency, I think it behooves you to really segment out every domain in its own bubble. I've been lax, I guess, because I don't host that many technically for other people. I mean, I host a half a dozen client projects, but I have 15 other personal projects in there. Some are important, some not so important. Some people don't pay me, friends and family, whatever it may be. So yeah, it's just kind of a stressor. Anyway, that's what I'm doing across the board. I hope this helps you kind of just start thinking about what's going on right now in the very near future. It's not a matter of if, it's when, and it's going to happen to everybody and anybody. Here's the thing. It's not personal, but it feels personal. And I will not lie to you there. It felt really like, why me? Why me? It's not me. They don't know me. My sites aren't, changing the world in any which way. I mean, in that bigger picture, it's like I'm not a targeted attack. It's just a vulnerability that was found and exploited. It's not personal. Breathe, take a moment, and then just, get to work and take some precautions there. So there you have it. Even I got hacked. So there you go. All right, moving on. Tip and tool of the week. This week, it's a plugin called Fix Another Update in Progress. Because if you try to do updates and you get this message saying you can't, what do? So there's a plugin that fixes that. It's called Fix Another Update in Progress. It's kind of a mouthful there, but check it out. Worked great. I installed it, ran it. It cleared out that flag, and then I could run my updates for the rest of the things. There you go. So it's called Fix Another Update in Progress. All right, let me wrap it up here. If you have any questions, go ahead and send it in via email, adam@KitchensinkWP.com, or use the speak pipe function on the website. Love to hear from you. You can become a Patreon. You want to help support this show or me, that'd be fantastic. You can sponsor the show. There's a form on the website. Thank you so much for listening. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. Change your passwords. See you next week. Bye-bye.